The New York Yankees are going to be potentially looking at these two prospects to play a big role on their 2025 roster. Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone both spoke about second base and left field and some of the prospects in the Yankees organization, and the two names that popped up were Caleb Durbin from both Cashman and Boone, and Jason Dominguez from Aaron Boone himself. Now, both these players are expected to be on the 40-man roster in 2025. Jason Dominguez is already on the 40-man, and Caleb Durbin is Rule 5 eligible, which means if the Yankees do not add him to the 40-man roster, they lose him in the Rule 5 draft, and I guarantee you the Yankees would lose him in the Rule 5 draft. He might go 1.1 in a Rule 5 draft. I really doubt the Yankees leave him unprotected. If they do, it just makes no sense. You could probably trade him and get something in return. There's just no reason to leave him unprotected. You should keep him on your roster. So I'm just kind of assuming there, but it's a pretty smart and, I guess, well-researched assumption on my end. And, as it pertains to the Yankees infield and outfield, I expect Jason Dominguez to play left field for this team in 2025. I expect him to be a starting left fielder on opening day if he's healthy. I expect the Yankees to give him the lane to start, to give him the opportunity to earn the job in spring training. I'd be really shocked if Jason Dominguez has a strong spring training or has a decent spring training and ends up on the bench on opening day. It just doesn't feel like that would make much sense. I felt like they were grooming him for a bigger role in 2023. The UCL surgery cut into that. I think if he didn't have a torn UCL, that he would have factored into their plans heavily in 2024. Hell, he might have been the starting left fielder. So, with that being said, I want to talk a little bit about what Dominguez did at the AAA level. He had some pretty strong numbers. He put a 121 WRC+. He hit 7 home runs, stole 15 bases. I thought he was a pretty strong player at that level. I thought he hit the ball well. He ranked in the 98th percentile and 90th percentile exit velocity. For those who are not aware as to what 90th percentile exit velocity means, it's just taking your 90th percentile exit velo, so that top 10% mark, and it's basically who hits the ball hardest in that sample size. And why is that important compared to exit velocity? Well, hitting a ball like 30 miles an hour off the end of the bat can really skew your exit velo. We're trying to really figure out who hits the absolute crap out of the ball. Dominguez is someone who doesn't just run high exit velos. He absolutely demolishes the ball. He does it consistently. It's a tight grouping of exit velos, and that's good. You want a tight grouping of high exit velos, not this widespread, sometimes 80 miles an hour, sometimes 110, sometimes it's 82, then it's 115. You want this tight grouping of 105, 106, 107, 105, 106, 107, 99, 95, that kind of stuff. Because tighter groupings of exit velocity lead to more consistent contact, more consistent damage contact, and more consistent results at the plate. It's a good sign for him. It's something that I was kind of shocked to see, considering elbow surgery really impacts your ability to do damage on contact. Initially, we saw that a little bit early on. One of the things that he did regress in was his chase rate. I think that might have been a byproduct of trying to artificially create some power without swinging as hard. When you pull the ball in the air, you get a little more pop than if you hit it to just dead center or hit it the other way. Perhaps that's something that he was trying to do a little too much of for someone who has the power to go to all sides of the field. And, I'm not saying to say I don't want Jason Dominguez pulling the ball in the air. That short porch is perfect for him in right field, and he does have some good pull side power, but you don't want him to do it at the cost of being a bad swing decision maker. You don't want him to regress from 90th percentile swing decision scores to 50th or 55th percentile. That'd be a huge decrease in his offensive ceiling and his offensive output, and quite honestly it would make him a lot easier to pitch to for teams. You want to keep that well-rounded, just consistently excellent around the board kind of approach. That's the profile that Dominguez has. That's why he's such a coveted prospect. That's why teams, like the Yankees have viewed him so highly. That's why the Yankees, looked very willing to give him that job, if not for that UCL tear. So, that's a big part of this. Obviously, the defensive component is huge as well. I just don't have a concern about the bat at all. He was in the 91st percentile in zone contact rate, the 77th percentile in whiff rate against non-fastballs. So he makes contact against everything in zone. He doesn't swing and miss a ton against non-fastballs. I just don't have those concerns about his bat. I have the concerns about his glove. Left field, he looked lost out there. He was making some really brutal errors, like the kinds of errors that just can't happen for a major league outfielder. The Yankees should put a lot of work into making sure the defensive instincts are there, because he's fast, he's got the athleticism to play great defense in the outfield. He just doesn't. He doesn't seem to be comfortable out there. That's what the Yankees are going to have to work with him every single day they can on. That left field, he has to master left field. Doesn't have to be a star defensive outfielder, just has to be good enough out there, because I think the bat and the base running will play. He's a great athlete, he moves well, he could steal 30 bases next year, that's going to help the Yankees a ton. I'm not really concerned with the offensive output. It's just more so the defensive output. I don't really feel like I need to go much further with Dominguez. I think everyone's kind of in lockstep that, he should get a chance to start next year. He should be the front runner to start for the New York Yankees in left field in 2025. Now, moving on to Caleb Durbin, I think this is where we get a little more like, should we, shouldn't we? Like, what are, is there an external option available? Like, what scenarios would Durbin starting be okay? Those kinds of things. Caleb Durbin is a 24-year-old infield prospect. He's very versatile. The Yankees acquired him from the Atlanta Braves at the conclusion of the 2022 season in exchange for Lucas Litke, who the Yankees had DFA'd at that point. The Braves just kind of tossed him at the Yankees. Just said, hey, here, you can take him. Here's a player. Here's a body. We'll take Litke, who you just DFA'd. The Yankees had no leverage in this conversation. They were never going to get anything that the Braves perceived as of value. But the Yankees have been able to turn Durbin from a super, just a bat to ball, like force contact, that kind of guy, to still make a ton of contact. In fact, he makes more contact with the Yankees than he did with the Braves, but also can work some walks, also can kind of feel the zone a little better, and can now hit for a little bit of power. This past season, he hit 10 home runs and 23 doubles in 82 games of AAA, slugging .471 with a .396 OBP and a .287 average. He stole 29 bases in 32 attempts, so he's only caught 3 times. He had 2 triples to boot with that. He walked 12.5% of the time. He only struck out 9.9% of the time. Those are really encouraging signs. He was able to make a good amount of contact at the AAA level. He had excellent walk rates. When he got the ball, when he put the ball in play, it was usually in the air. He only had a 40.7% ground ball rate in AAA. Those are some really good qualities. That's kind of stuff that you really want in a major league, kind of a guy who you can pencil into a major league role. You want a guy who can put the ball in play, a guy who can make some good swing decisions, and a guy who can drive the ball gap to gap consistently. He performed very well in the Arizona Fall League as well. Put up a .976 OPS. He slashed .312, .427, .548. Granted, a lot higher of a run environment. It's kind of similar to AAA in that regard, where the average OPS is about 800. So, his OPS plus, if you were to calculate, would probably be somewhere in like the 125 to 130 range. He hit 5 home runs in 24 games. He had 5 doubles. He had a triple. He only struck out 7 times in 117 plate appearances. That's ridiculous. He walked 17 times. The big thing here was he stole 29 bases in 24 games, was only caught once. That's an AFL record. I think he swiped 5 more bases than the previous record holder. So, played 24 games, set an AFL record, stole a bunch of bags. Very impressive base runner. I think he's one of the best base runners at the minor league level, period. Not just in the Yankee organization. I think he's the best base runner in the Yankee organization. His speed isn't like 99th percentile fast. He's probably like 75th percentile, 80th percentile runner in terms of just raw sprint speed. And I also want to mention this in tandem with Dominguez because the Yankees were really slow last year. They were in the bottom 5 in sprint speed. They've been in the bottom 5 in sprint speed for the last, I think, 3 or 4 years straight now. They have a terrible BSR. They were dead last in BSR, which is Fangraph's base running metric. And they were dead last in Baseball Savant's base running metric, which is base running run value. They did not perform well as a team when it comes to running the bases. They just didn't. They didn't do a good job. They were bad at it. They were slow. People always think about like the outs they made on the bases. What about the opportunities they passed up on, right? The Yankees were dead last in, advance rate, versus the expected. They were really bad. They were just really bad on the bases. I think part of that's a personnel thing. People are going to think I'm talking about coaching. I am talking about the players themselves. No shit that the team that has Anthony Rizzo, Jose Trevino, Alex Verdugo, Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Judge, and Juan Soto all starting can't run the bases well. And Gleyber Torres too, he's also a slow runner, doesn't run the bases well. Jazz and Volpe were like the 2 guys who were firmly above average base runners. Everyone else was firmly, and I don't mean like average-ish, okay at it, decent at it. Like these were bad base runners. These are slow guys who don't make great base running decisions. Bad combination. You live with it when it's Juan Soto. You live with it when it's Aaron Judge. You live with it when it's Giancarlo Stanton, who's, an incredible postseason performer. You can't live with it when it's Anthony Rizzo. It's Jose Trevino's a catcher. Austin Wells is a catcher. Like, they're supposed to be slow. I get that. Can't live with it from Verdugo. And, even to an extent with Gleyber, right? Like, until he went off in that second half, bad base running without the offense, it's not a good combination. So, you want your guys who don't run the bases well to hit for power. So, I know Wells struggled last year towards the end, but I think he does have firmly above average power. I think he's a 20 home run hitter. If he's slow, that's fine. He's a 20 home run hitter. Stanton, he's slow. That's fine. He's a huge home run hitter. Soto, Judge, assuming you sign Soto. These are big home run hitters. These are big power guys. Them being slow is not a problem, right? Because we're not talking about those guys being station to station guys. When Soto, Judge, and Stanton come up, you're not expecting single. You're expecting, like, you know, if they're going to get a rally going, one of them is probably going to get the ball out the yard or hit a ball into the gap. That's why you don't care about their speed as much, because they're going to get to second base most likely on a hit, not on a steal. And even then, Soto and Judge can be opportunistic base runners at times as well. As for someone like, you know, Volpe or Jazz, I mean, Jazz has good power, so I'm not going to categorize him exactly the same way as I categorize Volpe. But if you have Jazz, Durbin, Volpe, Dominguez, you have 4 firmly, and I mean firmly above average base runners, guys who can combine for 100 plus steals. In fact, Steamer projects those 4 guys to combine for over 100 steals, and that's really encouraging, right? You get 100 steals out of 4 players. That's really good. Like, right then and there, you get all the base running production you need. You know, you've got, 5 guys in your lineup who are going to hit for some pop. If you import a first baseman, probably not going to be a fast player, but if they can hit for some power, you've got, in Soto, Judge, Stanton, Wells, and your first baseman. And then the other 4 guys, they're base running guys, and one of them can hit for power. That's how you balance out a lineup. It's not about, in my opinion, it's not about having X amount of contact guys and X amount of power guys. It's that your power guys do damage on contact, and that you're not great hitters, or your guys are a little bit concerned about their bat. Durbin, Volpe, Dominguez because he's a rookie. Those guys can steal. So those guys can help you on the offense side of the ball a little more than your power guys can on the base path. They can provide you something. You want your bad hitters to be fast. You want your slow hitters to be really good at hitting the ball out the yard. That's kind of the way I look at offense and kind of the desirable kind of ball player you want on your roster. But I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you think that Durbin and Dominguez should get starting jobs? I personally think if you're looking for more speed, those are, cost-controlled ways to do so. Invest heavily in Soto, invest heavily in first base. Go get me some pitching. Go get me bullpen help. Maybe your starter. Maybe you move some starters around. I don't know what they do in that regard. But I want this team to be able to run the bases well from their bad hitters, right? Like, if they're going to just import a bunch of guys who just mash, by all means, I'm all for it, right? But if you're going to import guys who are not great hitters onto your roster, they need to be great defensively and great on the base paths. Dominguez is a little bit of a mulligan because I think he's a better bat than Durbin by a considerable margin. I think he's a better bat than Volpe by a considerable margin. He's projected for a 112 WRC plus by Steamer, projected to hit 20 home runs over 139 games. Does not have to be a great defender to, kind of honor that offensive commitment and be a 2 to 3 WAR player. But I need my bad hitters to do something for me outside of, the bat. And it has to be both the defense and the base running, to be honest. So, I think that's something Yankees lacked in years past. I think that's something that they're able to do with guys like Durbin, who are really good all-around players. Guys like Volpe, who are great defensive players, maybe can take a step forward with the bat. Dominguez, great base runner and some really good offensive potential. But again, I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you view these guys as guys who should start for the Yankees in 2025? Should they kind of opt for more veteran talent? Let me know what you guys think. Again, comment section, let me know. I'll try to engage you guys in the comment section below. If you guys enjoyed today's video, like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell. Check out our latest uploads. We've got tons of content coming out, tons of really good stuff. We're going to keep you guys up to date on off-season rumors and all that stuff. And you guys can check us out on our social media platforms. We've got an Instagram, a TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and of course this YouTube page, all under the handle at Fireside Yankees, except for Instagram where it's at fireside.yankees. And of course, you guys can check us out on EmpireSportsMedia.com. We got tons of written content over there. I just dropped the piece on Roderick Arias. I think you guys are going to like it. Check out ESM, EmpireSportsMedia.com. Links are all in the description. And you can follow me on Twitter at Ryan Garcia ESM. I know it's called X. I'm calling it Twitter. I'm sorry. But yeah, appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. Let's go Yankees. Peace out, everyone.
Perfect.